The hum of a jet engine, a sound that once promised limitless possibilities, a soundtrack to our globalized world, and for over a century, one name has been synonymous with that sound: Boeing. More than just a company, Boeing became an icon, a symbol of American ingenuity, a testament to human ambition pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Its planes soared through the skies, connecting continents, transporting dreams, and embodying the spirit of progress. But beneath that polished exterior, a complex narrative was unfolding, a story of monumental highs, deeply turbulent lows, and a cautionary tale of how even the mightiest can falter. This isn't merely about metal, rivets, and turbines. It's a human drama, a saga of innovation, hubris, compromise, and the heartbreaking consequences of losing sight of core values. The story of Boeing is a mirror reflecting not only the aviation industry, but the very essence of our interconnected world. And it's a story that continues to unfold. To truly understand Boeing's current predicament, we have to journey back to its humble beginnings. Imagine a world where flying was still a daring dream, a world where pioneers dared to defy gravity. It was in this context that William Boeing, a lumber magnate with a passion for flight, founded his aircraft company in 1916. The early days were marked by relentless experimentation and a spirit of bold innovation. From building mailplanes to crafting bombers during World War II, Boeing quickly established itself as a leader in aircraft design and manufacturing. This wasn't just about building planes, it was about solving complex engineering puzzles, pushing the limits of aerodynamics, and fostering a culture of relentless improvement. The post-war era saw Boeing emerge as a commercial aviation powerhouse. With the introduction of the 707, the world entered the jet age, and Boeing was at the forefront, connecting far-flung destinations and shrinking the globe in the process. The 707 wasn't just an airplane, it was a symbol of progress, an embodiment of America's can-do spirit, and it set the stage for Boeing's unparalleled dominance in the decades that followed. The 727 followed, a versatile workhorse that opened up new routes and made air travel accessible to the masses. And then came the iconic 747, the Queen of the Skies, a marvel of engineering that redefined the scale of air travel, a behemoth that captured the imaginations of millions. These weren't just products, they were milestones, each marking a significant leap forward in aviation technology and capability. These were the golden years, the era when Boeing's engineering prowess was unmatched, its reputation beyond reproach, and its impact on the world undeniable. As the 20th century drew to a close, Boeing's focus shifted towards maximizing efficiency and reducing production costs. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the company embraced modern management methodologies, adopting lean manufacturing principles and just-in-time inventory systems. This wasn't just about building planes faster, it was about optimizing every aspect of the production process, from the sourcing of materials to the final assembly. The goal was to achieve greater efficiency, reduce waste, and increase profitability. This era saw the rise of the 737 Next Generation, a workhorse that revolutionized short-haul travel, a versatile and dependable aircraft that became a mainstay of airlines around the globe. The 777, a wide-body marvel, set new benchmarks for comfort and efficiency on long-haul routes, further solidifying Boeing's position at the pinnacle of the aviation industry. In many ways, it was Boeing at its peak, a company that could seemingly conquer any challenge, innovating not only with product design, but also with production methodology. Time studies became a core part of the factory's culture, and assembly lines became a science, constantly being optimized. The time it took to assemble a 737 Next Generation was reduced from 22 days to an astonishing 11 days. This feat alone was a demonstration of how powerful the company's culture of innovation and efficiency was. But lurking behind those impressive accomplishments was the beginnings of a subtle but significant shift, a change in priorities that would eventually come to haunt the company. Driven by an insatiable desire to push the boundaries of innovation, Boeing embarked on its most ambitious project yet, the 787 Dreamliner. This wasn't merely an evolution of existing technology, it was a revolutionary leap forward. The Dreamliner was envisioned to be lighter, more fuel-efficient, and more comfortable than any aircraft that had come before. It featured cutting-edge composite materials, a spacious cabin, and a host of advanced technologies, all designed to redefine the flying experience. But the production of the 787 also marked a departure from Boeing's traditional manufacturing approach. For the first time, the company outsourced a substantial portion of the design and production to a global network of suppliers. This decision was driven partly by financial considerations, a desire to spread the risk and reduce costs, but also by a belief that a global supply chain could offer greater flexibility and access to specialized expertise. On paper, this strategy appeared to be a logical step forward. but in reality, it unleashed a host of logistical and quality control issues. Suppliers struggled to meet Boeing's stringent standards, communication and coordination between different parts of the supply chain faltered, and delays began to pile up. Technical problems, particularly with the lithium-ion batteries, plagued the project, causing further setbacks and escalating costs. The Dreamliner was 3 years late to market, and while it eventually achieved commercial success, its financial promise remained unfulfilled. The experience was a stark reminder of the complexities of managing a global supply chain and a wake-up call about the potential risks of outsourcing core aspects of design and manufacturing. It was in this period that some believe a change was occurring, from a primarily engineering-driven focus to a more financial one, led by short-term shareholder satisfaction. In the wake of the 787's troubled launch, Boeing made a strategic pivot, a decision that would have far-reaching consequences for the entire company. Under its Partnering for Success program, the company adopted aggressive cost-cutting measures, pressuring suppliers to lower their prices and streamline their operations. This shift strained relationships throughout the supply chain, creating an atmosphere of distrust and instability. Suppliers who once saw themselves as partners in Boeing's success began to feel squeezed, forced to compromise on quality in order to meet increasingly demanding cost targets. This strategy wasn't just about saving money, it was about fundamentally changing the way Boeing worked, shifting the company's focus from engineering-driven innovation to financially-driven efficiency. This move was celebrated in the financial world, and shareholders responded favorably, but the long-term implications for the company's culture and its products were concerning. The collaborative spirit that had defined Boeing's golden era began to erode, replaced by an atmosphere of competition and distrust, and quality control began to take a backseat to the bottom line. This relentless focus on cost-cutting ultimately compromised the integrity of Boeing's supply chain and laid the groundwork for future problems. The culmination of Boeing's shift towards cost-cutting and financial expediency manifested most dramatically in the development of the 737 MAX. Faced with stiff competition from Airbus and its fuel-efficient A320neo, Boeing was under pressure to deliver a quick and cost-effective response. Rather than designing a completely new aircraft from scratch, the company opted for an upgrade to its aging 737 platform. Larger, more fuel-efficient engines were added to improve performance, but their placement altered the plane's aerodynamics. To compensate for this change, Boeing introduced the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS, a software solution designed to mimic the handling characteristics of older 737 models. But MCAS had a fatal flaw. It relied on data from a single sensor. If that sensor malfunctioned, the system could force the aircraft into an uncontrollable nosedive. The lack of redundancy in this critical system was a design oversight that would have devastating consequences. The focus on speed and cost-cutting had led to a compromise on safety. The first 737 MAX crash in October 2018 in Indonesia, and then a second in March 2019 in Ethiopia, claimed the lives of 346 people. The world watched in horror as the once venerable Boeing became associated with tragedy and loss. The 737 MAX was grounded worldwide for 20 months, costing Boeing billions of dollars, and leaving an indelible scar on its reputation. The loss of life and the emotional impact it had on families and the public will take generations to heal. The crisis exposed deeper flaws within Boeing's corporate culture, revealing a company that had lost sight of its core values. The 737 MAX crisis wasn't just a result of a faulty design. It was a symptom of a much larger problem, a fundamental shift in Boeing's corporate culture. Once renowned for its engineering-driven ethos, the company had become increasingly focused on finance and shareholder returns. Decisions were no longer solely driven by innovation, safety, and long-term value creation, but by short-term profits and meeting shareholder expectations. This shift eroded the collaborative spirit that had defined Boeing's golden years and contributed to declining product quality. Engineers who once held sway in the company's decision-making process now found themselves sidelined, their voices ignored in favor of cost-cutting measures. The culture of open communication, which allowed for the early identification and resolution of problems, was replaced by a culture of fear and retaliation, where employees were hesitant to raise concerns or challenge management decisions. This cultural shift had a corrosive effect on the quality of Boeing's products and the safety of its passengers, and the consequences were tragic. The cost-cutting strategy had a ripple effect, with suppliers bearing the brunt of Boeing's relentless pursuit of lower prices. Companies like Spirit AeroSystems, which manufactured significant portions of Boeing's planes, faced increased financial pressures and began to struggle with quality control issues. The squeeze on suppliers led to a compromise in the quality of their work, ultimately affecting the finished product. This also exposed a weak relationship between Boeing and their suppliers, lacking the collaboration and the transparency that a healthy partnership requires. The cracks in Boeing's foundation were becoming increasingly evident, and it was only a matter of time before the entire structure would begin to crumble. The relentless pressure to lower costs had created a situation where safety was no longer the primary concern, and quality control was neglected in the relentless pursuit of short-term profits. While Boeing was grappling with its internal crises, its European rival, Airbus, was quietly gaining ground. Unlike Boeing, Airbus maintained closer relationships with its suppliers, fostering stability, mutual trust, and open communication. The European aerospace giant gradually improved its A320 series, culminating in the A320neo, a fuel-efficient aircraft that has become a game-changer in the aviation industry. Airbus focused on building long-term relationships with suppliers and cultivating a culture of quality and innovation. By maintaining a more stable supply chain and prioritizing long-term innovation over short-term profits, Airbus has gained a significant competitive advantage. By 2024, Airbus had overtaken Boeing in market share, and its production system remained more stable, resilient, and innovative. The contrast couldn't be starker, and the message was clear. The pursuit of profit at any cost can come with a heavy price. Boeing now faces a monumental challenge. To regain its footing, the company must confront systemic issues within its culture and operations. It needs to shift from prioritizing short-term financial gains to focusing on long-term quality, innovation, and safety. This will require a fundamental overhaul of Boeing's corporate culture, returning to the engineering-driven ethos that defined its golden years. It will also require rebuilding trust with its suppliers, fostering a collaborative and transparent relationship based on mutual respect and shared goals. It needs to invest in new designs that can compete with Airbus's cutting-edge aircraft. The road ahead won't be easy, but Boeing is not without the capacity to do so. It has a rich history of innovation and a legacy of engineering excellence, and it has the talent and resources to rebuild its reputation and regain its position as a leader in the aviation industry. The future of Boeing is not yet written. It remains a story still unfolding. It's a story that will test the company's resilience, challenge its culture, and ultimately determine its place in the future of aviation. This is not just about Boeing. Its impact on the industry, on society, and on human connection is not something that can be overlooked. It's a story about leadership, culture, values, and the enduring pursuit of excellence. The story of Boeing is in essence the story of human ambition and the price that comes with it. The story of Boeing isn't just about planes, it's about people, ambition, and the pursuit of excellence. It's a reminder that even the mightiest companies can falter, that unchecked power can lead to compromise, and that safety can never be sacrificed for profit. It's a cautionary tale about the importance of corporate culture, the value of strong relationships, and the need for leaders to act with integrity and purpose. As Boeing navigates its path forward, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. For the aviation industry, for the passengers who rely on its planes, and for the legacy of one of the most iconic names in modern history, the future of Boeing remains a story still unfolding. It's a story that will continue to capture the attention of the world, a story that will serve as a lesson for future generations of leaders, and a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility.